All right, today we're checking out the Cyke Falcon S electric mountain bike. We got Sully over here. Definitely on first glance, you'll notice that there are some high quality parts on here. We'll go over it in a second. The design, really nice. We went with the 17-inch frame because I am short, but if you're on the taller side, you could go for the 19-inch frame.
The seat is at its lowest setting here, and I am almost 6 foot, and I am flat foot, and I'm touching the seat right now. So for the smaller frame, it is a big frame.
So here we have the 29 by 3-inch Maxxis Minion MTB fat tires. Got a bit of a thick knobby tread over here.
Yeah, and generally when you see a bike that comes with Maxxis tires, you generally know it's a more quality bike because they don't put those on factory bikes very often.
100%. They could have went with generic tires, but they went with Maxxis, so that's definitely a good sign. Now for stopping power, we have the Tektro Dorado 4-piston hydraulic disc brakes. It does have a brake sensor cutoff, and they do have these 203 millimeter rotors, which is a good sign. Definitely a lot of stopping power.
Yeah, to put in comparison to a very popular bike, the Sur-Ron, the factory Sur-Ron brakes are comparable or inferior to these. These are arguably the same or better than a stock Sur-Ron brake.
For the front suspension fork, we have a RockShox fork. Familiar with the brand, it's an air fork, so you can adjust the air over here and the compression.
Yeah, the suspension on this is super butter. I mean, it is so smooth. I mean, it's very plush, but I mean, that's what you want in these types of bikes, and if you want it to be a little stiffer, you can always adjust it. Okay, so over here, we have a removable axle. It's just a clamp that you pull down. If I can do it with one hand, there we go. And then you can loosen or tighten it, and to unscrew it, you push it the opposite way, and then you can unscrew the fork from the other side of the hub there.
A quick release system. When you're transporting the bike, you could probably throw this thing in the trunk by removing the front wheel. For power, we have a UL certified 48 volt, 20 amp hour removable battery integrated right into the frame. 48 volts, 20 amp hours seems like enough, especially if you're doing a lot of pedaling. This should get you some good distance. On the website, they claim up to 62 miles of range. So obviously that's dependent on rider weight, terrain, and your pedal assist level.
Another thing to note is it is a quick removable setup. So if you did want to have extra batteries, it would be very easy to just leave them in your truck or wherever you're stopped at and just swap them out and keep riding.
Here's a really nice highlight for this bike. It's a Bafang 1000 watt rated 1100 watt peak mid-drive motor. We're familiar with the M600, the M500, and I don't know exactly what model this is, but my guess is that it is similar to the M600 that we tried with the Onyx LZR.
Yeah, it definitely feels like any other Bafang that we've used. High quality, really smooth. I mean, no complaints.
Yeah, and it has the torque sensor.
Yeah, so with the torque sensor in trail riding, it really scares you without the torque sensor when the power just kicks in and like kind of launches you when you're not expecting it, just because you did like a little quarter turn of pedaling.
The input that you give it, you know, with your pedaling is pretty much matched. Correct. Sensor-wise.
So there's no like surge of energy going into it unless you push really hard.
It's not just pushing volts into the motor. Like an on-off switch. It's actually calibrated to your pedal. We also have a RockShox rear suspension right here. And from what I understand, it's called a 4-bar system. Similar to other bikes that we reviewed where the shock is located kind of right inside of the frame here. It gives you, I guess, better travel.
Yeah, so it definitely gives you a better pivot point for the mount of the shock and the swing arm to move separately from the rest of the frame.
And I believe you can adjust this. There's some adjustment dials over here.
Yeah, there's something over here, air. You can probably add air to it as well. Yeah, RockShox, definitely a good middle ground for suspension. They're definitely not the cheapest, and they're definitely not the best. I mean, this thing is like a pillow just from doing this. It literally feels like a cloud. It's so smooth.
Saddle seat is kind of your standard mountain bike saddle seat. Not a ton of cushion, but you're probably going to be standing for off-road rides. As we work our way up here, we have the left-mounted thumb throttle. I kind of prefer right-mounted or even like a twist throttle, but this could probably be easily replaced if you wanted to. We got the center-mounted color LCD display, and you have different modes here from off, Eco, Tour, Sport, Sport Plus, Boost, and that's it. And then you can also get into the settings by holding down, up and down. and then just kind of scrolling through, changing things like the clock settings or the themes. You could choose between 4 or 6 levels of pedal assist, and then other settings in here like the unit of measurement as well as the speed limit. So factory, it comes capped at 20 miles per hour, but we just threw it up to 50, and it says that it can reach up to 28 miles per hour top speed.
So we have the SRAM X5 shifter here, a very sleek and tucked out the way shifter. Like, you literally don't even really have to move your thumb that far from resting position to get to the upshift. But the downshift is, you have to move your thumb quite a bit to get to, but really comfortable, out of the way. It's not like sticking out. You don't have to go above the grip to change your gear. You can still hold on the entire time, which is important when you're going downhill.
Something like this is really meant for experienced riders who, they don't need to know visually what gear they're in. They could just feel it while they're riding.
Right, you know what gear you need to be in when you get in it.
Here's a look at the Tektro 4-piston brakes in the rear.
The SRAM 9-speed derailleur, really, really nice. Shifts super smooth. I mean, there's no clunking or anything coming from the derailleur. I mean, it is buttery smooth when it shifts. And another nice little touch that they put was the little chain pad here, so that the chain doesn't scratch up your frame. Very overlooked on a lot of bikes. I think it should be on more of them. A lot of the bikes end up with scratched frames just because the chain ends up hitting them.
And I just think the overall, the colors, the little designs over here.
Yeah, the overall finish of the bike is very high quality. I like the kind of more matte orange compared to a gloss orange. It definitely gives the bike a unique look in person.
Yeah, and they do that, sort of like the smooth weld style finish, which we've seen on a couple different bikes, which just gives it, a nice polished quality to it.
Yeah, I think anyone who is doubting the price after you give it a ride, I think that you would be able to justify it.
And the total weight of the Cyke Falcon S is 66 pounds.
The weight of the bike, it feels really well balanced. You could definitely tell all the weight is in the center here. There's no weight on the front or rear tire that is making it like unbalanced like the hub motor. But yeah, I mean, removable battery, so that can shed a few pounds even. And then you can also pop off the front tire to make it easier to carry through tighter areas, because this tire does stick out quite a bit further than the forks.
All right, so now that we've gone over all the features of the Cyke Falcon S, let's take it out for its first ride.
Let's do it.
The Cyke Falcon S is all about performance. Its 17-inch aluminum alloy frame strikes a balance between size and aesthetics, making it a great fit for off-road trails. RockShox suspension in both the front fork and rear shock delivers top-notch comfort and control, even on rough terrain. The Maxxis Minion 29 by 3-inch fat tires are built to grip loose surfaces, but their width and aggressive tread can sometimes lead to a self-steering effect, something to keep in mind on narrow trails or technical turns. At 66 pounds, it's not exactly lightweight, but that weight is due to the high-quality parts that increase performance, which we'll get into later. One area where the Falcon S falls short is that it doesn't come with front or rear fenders, so expect some serious splashback if you're riding in wet or muddy conditions. For a bike at this price point, integrated fenders would have been a welcome addition. The Falcon S features a 1,000-watt rated mid-drive motor that peaks at 1,100 watts. Paired with a torque sensor, this motor provides a smooth and natural riding experience. This makes pedal assist transitions feel intuitive, but with a decent amount of effort. With a top speed of 28 miles per hour, it's more than capable for trail riding. And the UL-certified 48-volt, 20-amp-hour battery offers a respectable range of up to 62 miles, depending on terrain, rider weight, and assist level. When it comes to stopping power, the Tektro 4-piston hydraulic disc brakes with 203mm rotors are a standout feature. The brakes are responsive and reliable, even on steep descents. The inclusion of motor cutoff sensors adds an extra layer of safety. The Falcon S shines in comfort thanks to its RockShox suspension system, which make long rides less punishing on the body. The SRAM 9-speed shifter provides enough gearing options for most trails, and the left-mounted thumb throttle is good for quick bursts of power when you need it. That said, the wide tires can feel a bit unwieldy in certain conditions, particularly on hard-packed or uneven surfaces where the self-steering effect comes into play. It's not a deal breaker, but it does take some getting used to.
All right, first ride with the Cyke Falcon S. Now, it is really cold. It is 20 degrees here in Michigan, feels like 10. It's snowing, but we got to get the review done. We're doing it for you guys, so hey, it is what it is, right? Let's just get right to it. Now, Sully did mention that, he's close to 6 foot, and just touches the ground. So this is going to be tall for me. But once I hop on, should be no issue. Saddle is at its lowest setting. And we will go to eco mode first, okay? So yeah, I can keep 1 foot on the pedal, 1 foot on the ground if I need to stop. And otherwise, the positioning feels good, suspension feels good, no throttle, just pedal assist only. And here we go. Pedal assist kicks right in, eco mode. You might want to play with the shifter to get it to your liking. We're just on flat ground here in a jacked up parking lot. And feels very natural. Now, one thing that I did notice is, I guess, the geometry of the frame and these big fat tires. The turning radius is just a little bit different than what I'm used to. Maybe that's like a mountain bike thing or a downhill mountain bike thing, but yeah, there is just a very big tire on, I guess, like a smaller frame, or maybe the bars are just a little short. But no big issue, just something to get used to. All right, let's bump it up to tour mode. Okay, that gives a little bit more power. And, we'll have Sully go on the trails to really kind of test this thing out. So this is just getting a feel for the controls, right? Getting a feel for the controller tune. I can definitely feel that torque sensor working. We'll bump it up to boost level now. There we go, way more power. And for the pedal assist with the torque sensor, if you've never ridden a torque sensor before, the power kind of like, it kicks in on each pedal move that you do, right? So some people like that. You get more of a workout, but you definitely don't get like, you don't get the coasting feel of a sensor that, that is not torque driven. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. You do have to exert some energy really to get this thing to top speed. All right, now we're in boost mode. We'll give it some throttle. All right, throttle only, no pedaling. Very smooth on the delivery off the line. It's not abrupt. And I think the way you use this is just to give it just a little bit of juice. But I think using the pedaling and the throttle is really appropriate for this bike. I don't know if like one or the other is better. I think using it in unison and really just using the throttle just to get you up a hill, right? Something like that, or just to kind of at an intersection just to get a little bit of a boost. Snowy weather, 10 degrees here in Michigan. Yeah, this thing, I mean, obviously, for commuting, this will be a really fun bike to ride, especially here in Michigan, where it's snowing and the roads are rough. So having these big knobby tires, they're gripping the road. It's a little bit icy and slippery here, but no issues whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, this can hit a top speed of 28 miles per hour once you unlock it, which is really, really nice. We'll go up this hill, see how this thing handles the hills. All right, full throttle, full pedaling power, and no issues getting up that hill. Now we're on some ice, and the suspension is doing its thing. Really, really comfortable. I have my butt planted on the seat, and I'm riding over some snow and some ice over here. Woo! Don't want to fall. Man, it is cold. Can't believe I'm doing this. But yeah, I mean, if it can handle this kind of terrain, Falcon S could handle pretty much anything. So really pleased with the performance here. All right, we're gonna go down this hill. Be a little bit careful here. Woo! Okay. Yeah. Get some top speed. 22 miles per hour on that run. Yeah, this feels really good. All right, let's test the brakes. The brakes are really, really nice. These are 4-piston Tektro brakes. So let's gather some speed here. All right, pinning down the throttle. 17, 18, 19, 20 miles per hour, 21, and brake. Really good stopping power. Tektro 4-piston hydraulic disc brakes is really perfect for the size of this bike, for the weight of this bike. Just that little parking lot ride, I feel really, really good about this bike. You know, riding it on pavement, on jacked up pavement in this parking lot, really nice. Like I said, I have to get used to, I guess the turning radius feels a little weird, maybe because the tires are so big. Once you get used to it, pretty easy to maneuver. Everything about this bike, the comfort, suspension was doing its thing, power delivery was good, and the torque sensor, you know, you're gonna have to exert some energy, especially if you're going up hills. Using just the throttle or just the pedal assist is probably not going to cut it. So this is the type of bike where you really want to use both, and you really want to save battery, like know when to modulate the throttle. Only use it when you're going uphill or when you need it, you know, off the line if you need it.
Man, this thing's going to be an absolute blast. I wish there wasn't any ice. I'm going to take it easy down this trail until I get to the next one, but we'll talk about kind of how it handles on ice, which so far not good. Make sure you cover the rear brake on this one. Oh yeah, I mean them RockShox, man. I mean this thing's a freaking Cadillac on the. Ooh. Okay, the ice is not a Cadillac though, but yeah, like the suspension, man. I mean you can definitely tell there was some thought put into it. It feels really solid. Super cushy. I mean, oh Jesus. When the pedal assist kicks in, oh my God, on this ice, is it scary. Hold on with me here for just a second. I'll actually start riding it in just a moment. But yeah, I mean, overall these roots and all that, I mean, you couldn't ask for much more work from the suspension on this one. The bars are wider, they're more mountain bikey because obviously it is a mountain bike. So you got to be careful coming real close to trees. You got to make sure you got enough of a gap for your bars to fit through. But any mountain bike rider knows that. But if you're new to this type of thing, these things go pretty fast for trails, so be ready for it. All right, now we're at a trail I might actually be able to do something with because there's a lot less ice. And we'll try to go up the stair set with this on our way back. But let's talk about it over here first. So, getting right into it. I mean, the suspension, holy crap. Like, just pedaling, you can feel how plush it is. Feels super sturdy in the snow. Ice is ice. There's not really much you can do about it, but yeah, these Maxxis tires, I had them on my BMX bike growing up, and they were always my my number one go-to for off-road. It's almost like it's got an electric shifter, which it might, because I think that's this box might be. But when you shift, it's really weird. It like stops the pedal assist for an abrupt second, and then it kicks back in. But it feels like you're like upshifting and downshifting a car. It is the weirdest feeling, but kind of cool. So let's turn around here, and let's rip it back down this way. Then we'll go up some stairs, see how it does through some bumps. So going about 16 miles an hour right here. Jumping into the downhill. Hit the brakes a little bit, slow down. I like how fast I'm going. Yeah, other than snow hitting me in the face, it was a lot of fun. The downshifting is really nice, but the upshifting is kind of tucked underneath where your thumb sits normally. So I'm used to like moving my thumb to hit it, so I move it and I'm actually moving it further away from the shifter. Yes. I love the overall size of the frame. The tires are absolutely massive, so any type of branch or maybe like a down tree even, you have plenty of wheels to get over it, which is super nice, especially if you're in like a more remote area where the trails aren't as groomed as this. Because trees fall, whether you're around or not. What a fun bike.
So here's what we like. The RockShox suspension system provides a smooth and controlled ride across most terrain. The mid-drive motor with torque sensor delivers a natural and intuitive riding experience, and the Tektro 4-piston hydraulic disc brakes provide great braking performance. But here's some things to consider. The wide tires can cause a self-steering effect, which will take some getting used to. There are no front or rear fenders, leaving you vulnerable to splashes in wet conditions, and the price may be a barrier for those on a budget. Overall, the Cyke Falcon S is built for off-road adventurers who demand comfort and performance. While its price tag and a few design oversights might give some riders pause, the bike's comfortable suspension, power, and high-quality parts make it a worthy contender in the electric mountain bike market. What do you think? Does the Cyke Falcon S live up to its off-road promises, or do you want more? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you guys in the next video.